All right, everybody, how you doing? So today we're going to take a look at the quad Cortex. I've had this thing for about 6 weeks, and I've been up and down and all over the place with this thing. All good, but I've tried several things. I took some of the presets that were in there already. I downloaded some from guys like Rabia and other guys that are popular on here, and tried doing my own thing with it. The first thing I ended up doing was basically 2 mono rigs running, so I have a stereo field, and it was way too complicated. So I tried something different, the typical run your wet effects after the amp and stereo. Then I figured out how to run stereo effects into 2 amps, and you have to split it and split the stereo and pan it and all that stuff. So I finally have ended up with this where I have 1 amp, AC30, big surprise, and I'm running wet effects after, except for 1 reverb that I run before for certain washed out kind of sounds. So enough talking, let's check it out, let's see what it sounds like. So this is my kind of bass, what we'd say clean sound, but lots of delay and reverb because that's kind of what I do. But this is the amp with the delays and reverbs that I use, and I'm going to go through and show you the different drives I use, and which is another thing. The drives in here are all pretty good. I've tried a lot of the captures, and I ended up capturing my own stuff. So I've captured my Morning Glory, double barrel with the Morning Glory, and the Moonshine. I did a custom. This is all JHS dirt. It's funny. That's not all I have, but these are the ones that I captured. I captured the custom JHS Charlie Brown. It has 2 sides. Borrowed it from a friend, and that's what I'm using in here because it ended up sounding really good. A little brighter in a good way, and anyway, you'll hear it. So that's what this is. The dirt sounds are coming from the amp or Morning Glory capture or that Charlie Brown capture. So here we go. So that's the cleanish sound. So add a little drive from that Morning Glory capture. A little tremolo setup on here. more drive from that Charlie Brown. So bigger drive. There's a lead sound that I typically use. So this will be the Morning Glory and the Charlie Brown together. There's a big washy sound. So actually, let me just give you a note with that last lead sound. So, all right, now let me do this bigger, washier kind of thing. So I'll use that for longer sustained. We use like that or speeding. Those kind of things. Just make it big and washy. And then finally, you have to have the obligatory swells / ambient pad stuff. So there you have it. That's what I've been doing with it. So I'm gonna put this on the Neural app. I'm gonna name to be determined, so I'll put it up there and then I'll let you know in the comments what the name is. Right now it's named after a song we're working on. So I'm gonna name it something else and let you know. But that is an AC30 with those captures I mentioned, and then delays and reverb. So the delays that I was using, for the most part, I used the digital delay. And then I will add in a tape delay. If I do double delays, I'll do one at a dot at eighth and one at a quarter note. Reverb I'm using, I've tried them all, they all sound pretty good, but I really like the Mind Hall. I have that Jet Revelation reverb, and that Mind Hall is really, really close to that. So I've set that. I actually have two of those, and I just use one of them for that big washy sound for the swells, and the other one I just have it moving up and down depending on the patch. So, all right. Hope you enjoyed that. Let me know, and look for the patch on the Neural app. Take it easy. Okay, so I want to give you a rundown of what I'm doing here with the signal chain. So I tried to darken this up a little bit so we could actually see it. So here's what I'm doing. Just to give you this, these are the scenes that I have set up. So the clean, drive, tremolo, the first lead, which is a lower gain lead like you heard, a bigger drive, and then a lead sound, and then the washy lead and the swells. All right, so I have the compressor, this which wasn't on those patches, but when I go to stomp mode, a pitch shifter so I can do octave pedal like Pog stuff. A lot of times I will have a vibrato in this before the amp, but with the 3 captures, it takes up a lot of the CPU for that. So yeah, so here's what I'm doing. That's the one reverb that I have before the drives, just to give it a washed out sound. So I can do that again, like in stomp mode. If I wanted to add it to any of those scenes, I can. But right now, I believe I just have it on that. Yeah. So you can see what's happening there. So when I have that clean sound, no drive, just the amp and the delays and reverbs. So there's the digital delay, the settings I have for that. And then as I go through, I have it different depending on what I'm doing. Same with the tape delay. I had it on for a lot of these. I like that dual delay sound. If I want it less, then I will just kick that off and have just the one delay. And then there's the Mind Hall. So that's typically how I run that. I like this because it is very simple and it just sounds good. So that's how I run it. And then the other one I just have maxed out whenever I go to the swells. I have that setting. And there you have it. So what I'm doing also, so here's the AC30. And that's the cabinet that I'm using, which I took the settings for that from the AC30 patch that they have in here. I think it's in bank 1, I believe. It just sounded really good to me. So I tweaked it a hair, but it's pretty close to what that is. I think I took some of the top end down a little bit and took some of the high cut off a little bit. Then I have this set up again. When I go to stomp mode, I can do a looper, which is great. I like having ambient loops for certain things. And then when I ran this into the house for the first time, I noticed there was a ton of low end compared to the Iridium or the Stomp, the other things like that we've used. And so the front of house did a pretty hard high pass filter. So that's what I did just to have it on here for wherever we go. You can see my high pass is set pretty high, and what you heard was with that high pass. So I think it cleans it up a lot. It keeps the low end from being too heavy. And that's for this style. Again, if you're doing metal, you may want to pull some of that back in. Also, I can use this as kind of an after the amp boost if I just want a little more volume for a lead or something. So typically I will do that, as you can see there. So that's how I've got it running. I'm not going to name it this. This is a song we're working on, but I will let you know